I'm that nigga with the plug.
If you need that, then get at me, I'm the plug.
Really on the plug, really on the plug. She got the plug, she got the plug, she got the plug.
I'm the plug.
You are now rocking with
Go DJ
and Maddie D.
And this is the plug.
Can you be my plug?
Quickest way to the top is the re-up, the re-up.
What's going on? It's your boy Go DJ.
And your girl, Maddie D.
And this is the plug, you heard?
Hey, you're plugged in right now.
The re-up, you heard? We got a special guest today.
Whoop, whoop.
You already know Bennett Knows in the building.
Yeah.
Mr. Bennett Knows from BennettKnows.com. We have him here today, plugged in with us. You are actually our very first guest on the Rio. So I'm excited that you're here now. You and I have known each other for like 10 plus years. We went to high school together, so it's exciting to have you here because you were one of my big inspirations. Yeah. Shout out Classical. Shout out M. Durant Studios.
Class of 2010. You already know.
Yeah, she's younger though, but
it's
definitely
cool.
2010.
None of that. But no. I still fuck with her though.
Exactly. I know. We were friends in high school. Imagine, no, we wasn't. We was never friends, Maddie.
I didn't fuck with you.
Bennett for a little while because all my
URI
brethrens from Shea.
Yeah, you know, Pawtucket, the bucket, it was, you know, in the building strong up at URI. So I feel like, you know, the PVD and the Pawtucket people, you know, they just did great shit like the plug, you know what I'm saying?
I know. Hey, it works out, right?
I know. And it's like funny because I always say you were one of like the main inspirations that I had when I started doing this. Like I always kind of knew I wanted to, but I never really had like the confidence. And then I remember you had Bennett Knows Radio, and I was like, oh my God, like that's my Bennett from like high school. Like look at him, he's so poppin'. Like, so I always say like, I'm sure you have heard other people say that to you too.
Yeah.
How does that feel, kind of being like an inspiration to other people and kind of being, you were a pioneer in what you were doing here?
Dope, thank you. I really appreciate that. I hear it all the time. You know, I hear people saying like, yo, Bennett Knows, like I seen you guys doing that and we were just inspired and, you know, we wanted to get involved. And I think it's super dope because when I started, it was just like something that I was just feeling out. There wasn't any platforms in Rhode Island that people were saying like, yo, if you're doing something dope, come through and come talk with us. So we were just kind of like testing the waters and it took off. And now we have so many outlets. We have, you know, there's so many people that are providing that platform and, you know, just supporting each other in different ways. So, I mean, I'm just glad that I was able to be a part of it and that people are still making the shit pop, you know?
Yeah.
PVD's where it's at.
Hey.
Definitely. And how long have you been doing it?
I've been working in this industry for 8 years. 8 years, literally. So I had like my first radio gig in 2012, and that's when I launched, Bennett Knows. And, you know, before that we were just like building, and then 2012 we just launched everything. And yeah, it's been doing it for a while.
Definitely. You definitely had a dope team around you too. Like every time we've seen, like it's really dope.
It's all about your team too. You can't do like if I didn't have people around me that supported me, and you know they were my closest friends. So, you know, my closest friends, they were like, "Yo, we see what you're doing. It's dope. We want to get involved." And if I didn't have them, Bennett Knows wouldn't be what it is today. So you always got to have that dope-ass team, the people holding you down and supporting you and, you know, just motivating you to
shout out M. Durant
to
Studios.
grind and work
Shout
hard.
out M. Durant Studios.
Yeah.
He's over here holding us down. I stuttered and shit. My fault.
It's cool.
DJ Diamond, he's not here right now. We got Crystal in the building.
Yeah, I know. We found Crystal.
Finally.
Why
wow.
was she lost?
She's been hiding.
We don't know. She's over there vaping. I don't even know what she's doing in the corner there.
That's what?
Yo, he getting high
look
on
at
the
you.
job.
Oh my God. All right, shout out to Crystal though.
Bougie.
She's part of the team. We appreciate her. Whether she comes high or not, it's fine.
we still love her.
No, but speaking of your team, you and your team have always created really dope visuals and like kind of layouts for the new season of your show, or like, and you've kind of always done it like a series almost. What is kind of some of the backing behind that, or how did you kind of develop that?
So I love music videos, you know. So I'm like the type of person to like turn up and like sit back and watch like the newest music videos and just have a ball doing that. So I was like, how could I promote my show and kind of just continue to do what I love? And the first video we put out is more of like a commentary, like this is Bennett Knows and we do interviews and this is how we do it. And then after that, we were like, you know what? People know what we do, so now let's just kick out dope concepts of things that we like. So we had the throwback, you know, the throwback with all that, and everybody loves the 90s. You know, people are out here dripping in finesse in 2018.
Hey.
You feel me?
Shout out
So
Cardi B.
we did that, and then, you know, just every video, we just came up with a creative way to push our brand, and, you know, that's what it's all about. It's all about branding, and the videos are kind of what set us apart, and it's just like a fun, creative way you do it. And, you know, people see that stuff on social media, and they're like, oh shit, this is dope. You know, it's better than reading, like, watch our radio show. It's like, yo, they're out there dripping in finesse, or, you know, they're running this town.
I was about to say,
they kind of, like,
you have to bring that
went
this
through
town.
like that, yeah. So
That
run
shit
this
was
town, thank you. We have all of the lights, all that. We did a 7-Eleven one. Whose ass is that? We got one coming soon. So yeah,
Whose
check
ass
them
is
out.
that?
Whose ass is that? Check them out. Yeah, just dope videos. We like to have fun. We just like to, you know, put our brand out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you mentioned dripping in finesse.
Chipping and finesse.
So, and like the
Don't
song
make
kind of
no
has like,
sense.
it don't make no sense.
Hey,
I thought she was about to say some hot shit. She
And
started
that-
singing.
It kind of has like that 90s vibe to it, and it's more new age. But then you also have like the Tekashi 6ix9ine kind of like music, which is like scream rap, like. And then you have like artists like Trippie Redd, who are kind of like in between, and
He's
like
really melodic, I'd say. Like, he uses his melodies. I kind of like him better. But the Tekashi does put some fire-ass records in the club.
yeah.
So,
you know,
What's your take on like the new age versus old age kind of? Well, I don't even want to say old age because I'm not old. I'm 20.
Yeah.
We're 25. You know.
but just like the turn in hip hop right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot to say because my thing is the reason why I do Bennett Knows is because I love culture, you know. So that's why one of the things that I learned on my journey with Bennett Knows is like I love culture and I love hip hop culture, and that's what I love about rap and the music because you know hip hop is like a representation of where we're from. You know, it's a representation of what we've been through. You know, you had Jay-Z, Nas. You know, these dudes were kicking in. They were talking real shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what hip hop always has been for me. And you know, we take that turn and we have rap or hip hop records that are for the club. So you know what I'm saying? You have Migos and you have Future, and I feel like they're kind of push this new age, Fetty Wap, you know, that stuff is cool. It's fun. It's for the club. It's, you know, you like to turn up, but it's not, you know, it's not hip hop for me. You know, I don't see it as like, this is hip hop, you know? So now we have this new generations, and I don't even follow up with them because I don't like them that much. You know, the Zans and the Uzis, and you know
Uzi's
they got you know the popcorn hair, the Cheetos hair, and the tattoos all over their face, and it's like they're kind of like defining what hip hop is today, and they're talking about they got the look, they're talking about popping perks and doing all of these pills and shit, and they're totally disregarding where hip hop came from. So you know. It is what it is. You know, this is a direction of what this music is becoming, and hip hop right now is definitely like the most popular genre in the country. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely gonna take that turn. But I just wish that you know there was more Kendricks and more J. Cole's putting out you know what I would call authentic hip hop. But at the end of the day, it's all preference. You know. So I still like Billy. I'm still in the club. Shot. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to be like, yo, like, this dude's the new shit, you know what I'm saying? This is the rap god, the king of New York, you know? It's like, no way, you know?
I actually had to turn off that. Shout out to the Breakfast Club, but I had to turn off that interview. I was not adding to his most watched interview.
No, not at all. Like,
Not interested.
Yeah, this guy was like, shut it off right now. You heard him say like something like, I be in and out of LA, and it's like, he's like, shut that down.
No, literally, I'm like, if he only knew, like, that's just something you don't even play with. Like, since Wild Wild West days, like, you don't talk about LA like that. You're gonna get yourself hurt.
What do you guys think? Because like I know you guys are in the clubs heavy, so you guys see how you see how everybody reacts to these records. Yeah. What do you feel about like the old school hip hop versus the new school?
Going back to that, Lil Yachty, I seen something. Lil Yachty said he's like, I was barely even born when these guys was like Biggie was alive or Tupac was alive, so like I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I'm into now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is my generation, so this is what I'm pushing. Like I can't even name 3 Biggie songs. He said, like that's crazy.
That is
crazy. You
crazy.
can't name 3 Biggie songs, but think about it. Like that's not his generation.
Yeah.
So
but I know a lot of people who can't name 3 EPMD songs or like.
Yeah, but Biggie was mad like out there.
Yeah,
like,
but so was
like,
but those were the pioneers. Those were the starters. So it's like it kind of history repeats itself.
That's like saying Little Xan. You know how they're bringing up Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Jay-Z, those type of people. They're not bringing up all those other ones because this is who they know of.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's the same exact thing though, because I'm sure if this argument was like around the time of like Tupac's and Biggie were still alive, they wouldn't be having the same conversation. They'd be like, "Oh, you don't know who EPMD is? You're a fool. You're a corn." Like, you know. So it's like history does repeat itself because I'm sure those conversations were had at that time. And it's like at some point you have to realize like we have to feel blessed in the America and the culture that we are in right now that hip hop is still alive. But that just proves how strong it is because it's like. It will never die. If you look back to like the 1980s or like in that time period, they literally said hip hop's a fad. It's not gonna be around. In the interviews, like you would see black interviewers literally saying like, what do you think of the new fad of hip hop? Fad? It's like this is a cultural movement, like is literally going to change the world and did change the world and did become the most popular genre now in new age. So it's like when you look at it in retrospect and you're like, this like 19-year-old kid doesn't know who Biggie is, and it's like, then he doesn't know who hip hop is because this is all a part of the culture and this is all a part of the struggle. And when they were making music, they were literally haunted and taunted by police because of who they were and what they represented and the culture that they represented. And it's like, then you don't know shit about what you're even trying to push. Like, that's like saying like, oh, I'm going to be an electrician, but I'm not going to figure out how to be an electrician. I'm just going to electrocute myself. And like I don't care who did it before. Like it's the same thing. It's like you gotta study your history to know where you're gonna go.
Listen to the OGs and stuff. And then like the other thing, I was talking about this yesterday, and John Hope. I was talking to John Hope, and he was telling me that he sees the other end of it, whereas like this is the new wave, and hip hop is like 50 years old, and it's evolved. You know what I'm saying? It's done it like twice, 3 times. And this is just another time that it's evolving. And I hate to say this, but who knows? When Jay-Z first came into the game, he was not Jay-Z. You feel me? I mean, he still had the numbers behind him to say, like, yo, I'm Hove, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't kicking the shit that he wasn't on his 444 shit, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't even on his Blueprint shit when he first came out. He was on The Reasonable Doubt, So he evolved and he became, what we know as the legendary Jay-Z today. Who's to say that one of these kids, the Little Xans or the ones that are just making it into the game as of right now and kind of like delivering what the wave is and kind of like confirming to the wave. Who's to say that one of these dudes aren't going to evolve to become something that's legendary in the future, Right now it's all about mumble raps. Niggas don't even care if you're spinning bars. Nobody cares if you're lyrical, if it sounds good in the club.
If it goes
if
hard,
it goes,
with a beat.
you can say anything and it's going to be, people are going to, take it in and receive it. They're just going to go with it. So I'm just saying like Little Xans and all of them dudes, hopefully they cut their hair off and they, clean up their appearance. But, they might become,
but Jay-Z has always been great. Like, Kendrick Lamar has always been great.
He's still
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's the
Jay-Z from Reasonable Doubt until 444, you've never... Like, there's been certain times where you're like, oh, like, at that moment in hip-hop where people were like, oh, this wasn't that good. Like, people talked about... It was the one that had, like, the hologram cover. Like, it was, like, 3 different colors.
Kingdom Come?
Kingdom Come. A lot of people talk about that album, and they'll say, like, oh, that was Jay-Z's worst album. But it's like, if you throw that on now, you know every word. So it's like, everyone has, like, their specific, like, things that, it's like, at that time, it wasn't, like, the greatest album of the time, but it was a timeless album. Like, his sound is timeless. Like, Kendrick Lamar, you could listen to his very first album, and it's still fire.
And I still do. I listen to that every single day.
yeah,
It's the first
my
thing that
God.
comes on when you plug in my phone in the car. You know what I'm saying?
But going back to that, Charlamagne was saying, like, hopefully you're around next year to Tekashi.
Yeah,
Hopefully
like-
you're around. But the way saturation is working, it's like they're putting out so much content. Like, who is going to be around? You know what I'm saying? I think the Migos will still be around because they're hitting you with the fire. The fire.
They also are writing full albums in 45 minutes.
They do say some shit, but
They're mumble rappers, but at the same time, there's no competition when it comes to their beats. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, the beats that they have,
their swag.
it's
Everything.
like you kind of fall into their own
Yeah,
culture.
it's like their movement. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have the Migos experience. You feel me? It's like you're listening to Migos. You know that you're gonna be on that bad and bougie mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're acting. You know what I'm saying? You're not. You don't listen to Migos for any other reason but to be on that time. You feel me? But I was thinking, you know what? It's gonna be interesting with like right now they're pumping out these Lil Xans and all of these guys and. It's going to be interesting to see because, I mean, earlier this year, I wrote a post and it was, when is, mumble rap going to end? And it seems like it's just getting, it's getting even better. So,
Until you just hear like,
and niggas will fuck with that too. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
You gotta think of the drill era though, like the Chicago drill era. It faded away, so something might.
So I'm like wondering like is it going to fade away? Is it going to evolve, or are all of these dudes just going to fall off the face of the earth? Is there going to be one of them that actually takes this shit serious? I'm just looking forward to how it's going to evolve, and I think. It's very generational. The generation beneath us, they like that shit. Like they're going for, the popping pills and all of that stuff. So, they're kind of like feeding into impacting, the culture as well. Whatever they say is hot is hot. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where things go, how things fall out. Hopefully they all fall off the face of the earth.
So going back to what DJ mentioned about saturation, you have BennettKnows.com and you post a lot of blogs. We'll put that website in the description box so you guys can check it out. How do you feel when it comes to saturation and posting and blogging? Do you feel like you always have to like keep up with like who's like putting out new songs, or do you feel like, okay, I have to post this person's video, I have to do this, I have to do that? Like, how do you feel about keeping up with the oversaturation of the industry right now?
So I think that at first, when I first started, excuse me, this coffee is great, by the way. When I first started, I was thinking like, yo, I have to put every single song that comes out, every video, every album, every, headline, because I need to get people to come to BennettKnows.com and read it regardless. You know what I'm saying? Clickbait. We got to put this stuff out here. So they have to come to Bennett Knows. Now, you could sit back and look when a music video drops and you look at your timeline and there's about 10 people who put that video out, new music video, and everybody got it. So, I think that once you gain that momentum, you have people who really connect with who you are, what your brand represents. Like, yo, I go to the plug because I like how they do their album reviews, or I go to Bennett Knows because I like how, I just like his perspective on, on culture. Once you have that momentum and the following, just be true to yourself, you feel me? Because now that's why people are going to your page, People may people will go to see, like, oh, new music, but people are going to stay because your content is you. And it's like, so I think, in order to make sure that you're not saturated and you're lost with everybody else, just find your niche and, make that connection so that people know, when I go to Bennett Knows, I'm not only going to get, the new music video, I'm going to get, what it's about, but I'm also going to get Bennett's perspective if he thinks it's hot, if he thinks it's not. I'm very witty and I put, my 100% opinion. I'll be like, yo, this shit is whack. I hope, I really put my best foot forward, what Bennett knows. And I think that helps you, keep, just distinct yourself from everybody else.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the new show.
So I moved to Seattle, right, and the transition... It was definitely a hard not a hard one, but it's definitely a transition. I'm like literally all the way as far as you could get to the other side of the country. So the culture is so different, you feel me? Just the way that people interact with each other, how they go about, their daily schedule, and just the way they move, it's 100% different. So I remember I came back home last March to do the Bennett Knows Radio Awards. Mm-hmm. And I did a live podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And they asked me, like, yo, how's Seattle? How's the music out there? You know what I'm saying? And I said, and I was like, you know what? Seattle has no culture. And I just, like, left it at that. So when I got home, they ripped me a new one. They're like, fuck you. You didn't rep us. We got culture. And, for me, I was like, you know what? That's kind of fucked up. I can't say that, another place doesn't have a culture because I don't understand it, Yeah. And at that point, I was only there for a year, so I really didn't know much about, the hip-hop culture and what people were doing. Fast forward 2 years, I was like, you know what I'm going to kind of, I love culture, I love perspective, and obviously I don't know much about the Seattle culture, so I said I'm going to do, just a project on different cultures. So that's the new project. It's going to be a podcast along with the podcast is going to be many visuals, and, it's going to be a lot, because you have to be a man of, many, what do they say? A man of many hats. Many hats, yeah, right? So it works. So like you can't only have the podcast. You have to have the videos. You have to have the photos. You have to have you have to have everything. It has to be the total package. So it's a podcast, but we're gonna be giving you a lot more. But I'm just traveling, hitting off different cities, talking to dope people, and just trying to find out what that culture is to these artists, to these curators, to these just different people who are in the industry. I want to get that culture and see how it impacts, what they're doing. So, we're in PVD right now, so I spoke to numbers of people to, get that PVD culture, which is totally different from Seattle. And we talked to a bunch of Seattleites to, get what that culture is. And we're going to go to Miami. We're going to go to LA. And it's going to be the new podcast. It's going to be Know Your Culture. So,
hey, dope.
And you say do you have like a team out there, since I know a lot of your team was from
Actually,
here?
I don't have a team out there. I just have in PVD, I'm going to say this, everybody's doing something. Like, everyone here is hungry. You come back here and everyone has a podcast. Everyone, you're doing videography. Out there, not as much. I haven't found a lot of people, or it's just like it's a lot bigger, so you don't know of, just that, the way that we're able to connect with each other, and we have access to each other so much easily, so you could kind of like look through and see what everybody's doing. You can't really do that in Seattle. But, I've connected with numerous people who they have their own things going, and I get involved with them. Like, yo, you do video? You're going to be my videographer. Oh, you're a photographer? Well, I do this, so you could come with me. So I'm still in that stage of things. I'm still, like, reaching out and, networking and trying to meet people. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll have a team soon. But right now, I'm kind of just, like, whoever's with it, you're with it. If you're not, let's keep it moving. But I'm out here. I'm going to work, It's like one guy that I met, he is from Alaska. And he did, like, a whole, what do you call it? He did a whole, like, the channel A&E. They do, like, documentaries or whatever. He did a whole reality TV show for them in Alaska. So I'm like, yo, you're dope. You know what? You're going to do video.
That's because there's 7 people in Alaska.
So I don't know about Alaska.
No,
probably.
I'm just kidding. There's a lot of people in Alaska.
But you know what I'm saying? It's all about networking. I'm still in that stage of just like meeting dope people and seeing who I can work with, who I can't work with. So I'm still in the realm of finding, my space in Seattle, but we're definitely working on it for sure.
And that's the best part of like networking and meeting new people is like, how else would you have met that guy? Like,
shout out to Alaska.
It goes dark for like 4 days.
4 days, I heard. I'm a club guy, of course. I love to party.
If Alaska got ice clubs, he's there.
I'm talking about Seattle, though.
Oh.
You want to hear about the Seattle scene?
I want to see the Seattle scene. I want to know what it is, because it's like.
So they do not party like we do here, and leaving Providence really, really made me appreciate it so much more. Not like I was knocking my whole, my city, But, just moving to another place really shows you how poppin' it is. One of my favorite things while we're on the topic is the culture here. We have it's so diverse here that we're so aware of each other. We have our Cape Verdeans, you have your Dominicans, you have their Haitians, you know what I'm saying? And everyone is so proud of their culture and they rep it so hard that we're aware of each other's culture and we appreciate each other's, our traditional values. We fuck with each other's food, music. It's like a melting pot. I love that about Providence and Rhode Island altogether. Seattle, it's not as much. It's not as diverse, and I would just say the diversity is different. But they can't fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? They can't fuck with us. But I don't know. They don't party like we do. It's just a different culture out there. It's a lot of hipsters. So that's kind of like the vibe when you're hitting off their like club area. And you might go to a few hip hop clubs, and we found a couple of clubs that have like dope DJs, but they just don't party over in like the PMW. I wouldn't say West Coast, but Pacific Northwest. They just don't party the way we do out here. It's totally different. It's just like a little more chill, a little more laid back. When we go out here, everyone's dressed to impress. You make it a movement with your people. Making this transition from this coast or from PVD to Seattle, I was able to see how different places are, and I'm just like interested. Like, why don't y'all turn up like us? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you guys playing the same music? Like, why do you guys fuck with Anderson .Paak so much over here, and we don't? It's just like total different. Different lifestyles. So that's what this podcast is going to be about, just talking to people that have a different culture and seeing how it like shines through their work.
Is it mostly artists or is it just people, like everyday people?
I want to do artists because, I love music and that's kind of like my realm. I work in radio, but, I feel like there's so many people doing, creative shit out here that it's just, you can't limit it to just artists because, you might get a whole nother perspective, a great perspective from, a club promoter or another radio personality or, anybody that's doing something. You could get a perspective on culture from anyone, so I'm probably going to stick to artists, but you never know. Thank you guys for having me. And I think you guys are super dope. You guys are killing it. You're everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I definitely watch. I watch from back home. So you guys are killing it. You're at like every show. You guys are. If you're not hosting, you're curating another event. You're interviewing this one. So big ups to you guys. I'm very, very proud.
You know that.
Yeah. So, I always hit you up and I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, this is what just happened over here. I need some advice on how to go about or just like hitting each other up for motivation. So keep it up, I love seeing you guys. I love seeing your work and you guys motivate me to keep it moving, keep doing what I got to do. So with that said, make sure you check out Know Your Culture with Bennett Knows. It's coming, we'll say late April.
Yeah, and let everyone know where to follow you, where to get the website, all of that.
BennettKnows.com for all of your music and culture. You hit us up every single day. We'll have, all of that juicy content for you. I'm Bennett Knows on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. BennettKnows.com. It's simple.
If you like this interview and you like the plug and you like Bennett, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and then DJ will hit a real poppin' diddy bop. So.
Hey.
You know where to follow me at G0_DJ.
And you can find me at Motivation.
This is the plug on everything.
This is theplug.com.
YouTube, like, share, comment, all that good shit. This is the re-up. Your boy Go DJ.
Your girl Maddie D. Shout out M Durant Studios in the motherfucking building.
And this is the plug.
Can you be my